I've always enjoyed diving deep into stories and finding out more about them and figuring out what it is that I really love about it and what makes a great story great, right? And what I've come to realize that there's three main parts: characters, conflict, and world building. A story can run on one or two of these things, but the ones that stay with us, the ones that have you screaming into the void, are the ones that work with all three of them in harmony. I start with characters because they're the anchor of everything. They're the bridge between the reader and the story. A plot can be clever and a world can be vibrant, but if the characters fall flat, they will never be an S tier story. So let's break down characters, how they function, and how we as readers really connect to them. Analyzing characters, I use two major spectrums: ordinary and heroic. Represents how the character is seen in the world, and there's also lovable and hateable. And this kind of measures how the reader feels about the character, regardless of their morality. So, together, these two axes kind of explain almost every character that's of impact in a story. So, on the spectrum of ordinary to heroic, most main characters fall somewhere along this line. This isn't about power level, it's about relatability. Ordinary is someone who's relatable, someone who's human, someone who's familiar. These characters feel real because they reflect pieces of us. Sometimes it's the part we like, sometimes it's the part we avoid, sometimes it's the version of ourselves we want to become or fear we already are. This is why underdog stories work so well. Watching an ordinary person get dragged into impossible circumstances and then still rise up, it feels right. It mirrors how we imagine we might rise up if life handed us something big. The ordinary to heroic transformation. This is the classic character arc. It's an average, flawed person slowly earns the right to become a hero, and their growth feels earned. We celebrate it together because we remember where they came from. If the main character begins strong, respected, or frighteningly capable, the story usually must humble them, reveal some type of hidden wound, or expose a vulnerability that humanizes them. Because without that, they remain untouchable, elite, unrelatable. Basically, impossible to root for. A character who starts off heroic, stays heroic, and never does anything to become a normal person is flat and inconsequential and doesn't have anything that really helps you be emotionally tethered to them. Without any type of humbling or experience that brings them down to the real earthly level, they're just going to be a guy that's cool. This is the second spectrum: lovable to hateable. This is the emotional axis of I want to hug you, I want to drop kick you down a staircase, I hate you, you're my best friend. This is not a scale about morality. It's like you can love villains, you can hate heroes. A character's effectiveness is tied to how strongly we feel about them, not whether they're good. What makes a character lovable: vulnerability, honest flaws, loyalty or devotion, self awareness, earnest effort towards anything, even if they know they're gonna fail, competence with humility, humor, emotional warmth, things you would look for in a friend, someone that you would actually want to spend some time with. A character is just an imaginary person that feels real, a character that feels human, that has roots in real life. That's what really draws us to them instinctively. And characters we hate usually are hypocrites. They're arrogant, they're entitled, they refuse to change, they're cruel, they're completely drawn to power. Their betrayal is evident, they aren't easy to trust, they cause problems for the whole group, and they're just, uncool to be around. They're the people that bring the drama into your life. They're hateable. And it doesn't mean they're a bad character. It just means that they bring out that emotion in you that you don't really want to have, and that sometimes can be good. So yeah, that's my book vomit about character tropes. I want to go into more detail about this. I want to talk about point of view. I want to talk about narrators. I want to talk about more about the pros. I want to talk more about the grid that I talked about, the lovable and the hateable and the ordinary and the heroic. I have a whole chart. I want to show you guys everything. So if you thought this was interesting, give it a like, give it a comment, and let me know what's going on. Drop me a follow so I know to keep doing more of this stuff. Hopefully you like this trope stuff. I'm into it. I have way more to talk about. I still want to talk about world building. I want to talk about conflict. There's so much more to the story.